Hey, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this live stream
Thank you for coming through.
to come out. Well, thank you for having me.
The first question I definitely want to ask you is what inspired you to start? Oh, I'm sorry. The first question I want to ask you is what inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
You know what? That's a good question right there. I started my YouTube channel due to the fact that I do enjoy movies and collecting movies and stuff. But at the same time, I really started, and why I started back doing it again, Lady Sasha, is because I noticed it wasn't a lot of melanated people having
Mm-hmm.
channels, and also not having big channels where the algorithm will pick them up and they have like between 15,000 to like 100,000 views. So those are two main reasons I started to start doing videos and live streaming and stuff. Actually, I just started live streaming with you. You're the first
Mm-hmm.
one on this platform, so that's the reason why I really started doing this.
Very, very cool. And one of the things I like about your channel is that it's such a calm channel. I don't feel like somebody's yelling at me or putting on airs or overacting or overreacting. It's just like a conversation, like you're talking to a friend about a movie.
Yeah, there's something I noticed when it comes to a lot of YouTube content creators. One, they have this voice like, "Hey, how you doing? Then back another video, this, and that." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
who can keep that energy? I'm not gonna be doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing I noticed, they edit. So if you pay attention, they edit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another thing, they have a lot of background and all that stuff, which I'm fine with that. But the first two, I'm like, just be yourself. When you're yourself, it flows easier. You get used to talking in front of the camera and interviewing people. So this is my demeanor on camera and off camera. So this is
Mm-hmm.
what you're gonna get. So
Very, very cool.
yeah.
I do edit my videos, but that's because I say 150 times.
And you know what?
It would just be nobody wants to hear that so I edit out all the ums.
But you'll get used to it. Trust me, you get
Mm-hmm.
used to it. There's a lot of things that Lori pointed out to me that I do. With my hands sometimes when I was
Mm-hmm.
reach for my iPad, I
Mm-hmm.
will cut over instead of like sometimes I'll do this and that's the wrong hand. So I noticed
Mm-hmm.
this hand. So it's just like I don't know what's the word. Doing it a lot, repetition.
Yeah, it's a process. It's funny if you ever go back and look at your earliest videos from when you first started
Oh
compared
Lord,
to now, and you can see the gradual improvement.
yeah, I agree with that. Yes, yes.
So my next question is, how did you get into horror?
Well, that's easy. That's easy. Coming up, well, I'll be 50 this year. Coming up in my generation, there's a lot of comic book shops, a lot of I think it was a Saturday drive-in theater in New York, and on
Mm-hmm.
TV. I'm sorry, TV station. They would play horror movies and kung fu
Mm-hmm.
movies, and that was my introduction. And I was fascinated, and I enjoyed horror movies, so I stuck with it. At the same time, I started getting more involved in horror movies, like the director, the special effects, the company who's distributing these movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really like horror movies. I mean, I do enjoy other genres of movies, but I kind of cater towards horror movies, so that's how I got into it.
Very, very cool. And we're part of the same generation because I'm 45. And I remember the
Okay.
Saturday afternoons, yeah, horror movies and the horror hosts. You had like coming up, we had Elvira and Joe Bob Briggs. Do you remember Commander USA's Groovy Movies?
Yes.
That
Yes.
used to be on Saturdays. That's the first
Yes.
time I saw the Toxic Avenger.
Really?
was, yeah, it was on Commander USA's Groovy Movies. And there was a Connecticut specific one. There was a dude, his name was Dr. Atomic.
Well,
and
I will
I
say
can't remember
this.
what channel he came on, but it was for a short period of time. He used to wear this pink afro and a like a lab coat and dishwashing gloves, and he would come on Friday nights and introduce the movies.
You know what? I think that guy got syndicated. If it's the
Oh
same person,
wow.
because he was from California. But I'm gonna do some research. If I do find information, I will just send it to you.
Yeah, because
Because
I thought he was local because I didn't when I used to always come down to Florida for the summers with my grandparents, and I never saw him down here. I only saw him up there, so that's probably why I thought he was just regional.
okay, cool, cool.
Can you remember the first horror movie you ever saw?
Oh, that's too easy, Sasha. The first one that I watched was okay. I think it was called The Car. You ever seen the movie The Car?
Yes, I
Actually,
reviewed The Car.
all right, cool. Because I just brought it on video on demand. But that was the
Mm-hmm.
first one, and I would say it's like thriller horror, and then from there there's a lot of grindhouse movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, back in the days, pre-teen, because back then we was able to walk around safely at the age of
Mm-hmm.
12 to go downtown in New Haven, Connecticut, and watch kung fu movies and horror movies. So that's my introduction right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but The Exorcist is one that sketched in my mind because that's one of the big ones I do remember.
Oh yeah, that one freaked me out. I saw it on television when I think I was in sixth grade, and it was the
Mm-hmm.
edited version, and I
Mm-hmm.
still was scared.
Cool, cool.
Hey, Night Watch Zone came through.
Yeah,
What's up?
how you doing, man? Mm-hmm.
Um, what is your favorite genre of horror movies?
No, that's a good question, Sasha. So I kind of cater towards more survival type horror, like The
Mm-hmm.
Descent, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, Anything where they're fighting back. But I do cater towards 70 grindhouse stuff. I keep saying 70 grindhouse, like that's what I grew up with, that's what I was exposed to, stuff like that. So let's see, you got slasher, you got monster, and what's the other genre? Spiritual or
Oh yeah, like religious horror.
religious? Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna go with the
yeah,
monster. I'm gonna go with monsters.
monster movies.
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite genre of horror?
Mm, I'm gonna say. Well, I want to say it's least favorite genre, but I don't like when Hollywood runs something to the ground, like the Freddy
Mm-hmm.
Kruegers or the Jason, those series right there. I think they should treat them how they treat Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a couple of years, get a good director, a good solid script, and put your money in your special effects, and put that movie out. You know what I'm saying? Um, if you're not gonna do that, then hey, so you just it's really cash grab, as far as I see it.
Yeah, it is, especially when they do half-baked remakes
Yeah.
where they just don't have the heart that the original has. Or
Actually, me and Lori just watched the remake of Wrong Turn.
mm-hmm. How was it?
Actually, you know what? We enjoyed it. They kind of fleshed out the storyline and made it more bigger. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, they didn't go the same route. I think you enjoy it. I
Mm-hmm.
think they brought some not humanity, but they tied it in so well that you can tell that they really thought this out when they
Yeah,
did this series. And
I've
I'm
been
happy
hearing
with that.
actual. I was hearing good things about that remake. One of the things I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Crystal that was telling this to. When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to horror remakes, I think they work like the ones that we grew up with in the '80s worked really well because they took kind of schlocky, low budget originals like The Thing from Another World or The Fly, and they were able to improve upon them with fleshing out the writing more, having a higher level of special effects. They just really were able to improve. I think what we're doing now is the opposite. Instead of taking something that was just okay and making
Mm-hmm.
something better, we're trying to remake classics. Like they're trying to remake The Exorcist. You're not going to improve upon that. I'm
No,
sorry.
nah,
No,
that's
go
not gonna happen. And
remake 976 Evil. Like do that. You could do that better.
yeah, and you know what, Chris, I agree with you. I think certain things you can't remake or should touch, and certain things I don't mind touching. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where the discrepancy is because from the studio side, it's the money thing. Because any day it's the business. But
Mm-hmm.
on the fan side, like us, we know that. Look, if you're not gonna get a good director, a good script, and like I said, put the money where special effects, practical effects with little
Mm-hmm.
CGI blended in, then we don't really want to watch that or check that out.
What is your favorite era of horror,
That's
like
a big.
time wise?
You know what? I'm gonna have to go with the '90s, but I'm gonna go with the '90s, and I'm gonna go with foreign horror movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. See,
That
when you add foreign, yes.
yes, Martyr,
Mm-hmm.
Inside, the one we just talked about where the girl was doing the killing, but she didn't think she was doing the killing.
Oh, high tension.
High tension, stuff like that. I think, and to this day they're still doing it. Actually, there's a movie called Possessor, or
Oh,
something like that. You gotta check it out. Me and Lori enjoy that one.
oh, is it called The Possessor? Or no,
Yes,
not The Possessor. Or Possessor, where the girl, she like it's like a
goes
science
into
fiction
time.
horror
Yes,
where she like goes into other people's bodies, and
yeah.
yeah, that was really. I watched the uncut version. That one.
Oh, you
That
did
one
watch
was.
it.
Yeah, I got to see that one. That was really good.
Cool,
It's
cool.
not for
So,
everybody because it's for a certain. I feel like if you like David Cronenberg movies, if you like David Lynch movies, you probably really dig Possessor.
yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely like that one.
Now, growing up in Connecticut, I felt like it was a really great place to be at during Halloween. I had a lot of good memories about trick or treating and just how even how it looked, the leaves on the trees turning, how things smell during
Oh yeah, the
Halloween.
foliage when it actually
Yeah.
turns and stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite childhood Halloween memories?
Well, again, I grew up in New Haven, so like I said, the graveyard that has the tombstone for Bloody Mary and certain people were
Mm-hmm.
right there. And also, when the trees, the foliage, when the trees leave, it will give that eerie look at night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the transition, especially around October, which is my birthday. So
Mm-hmm.
you will get that. But also, like you said, Connecticut has a lot of hauntings, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
spirituals, and a lot of sites dealing with that stuff. And you also got a lot of horror houses and horror trails, like cutting through stuff and the hay rise at night and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Warren family live here. Rest in peace. I went to see them twice at the Lyman Hall Theater,
Wow.
Lyman Hall, so that was great. And then just the whole feel. So yeah, you definitely feel that, not in a bad way, but a good way.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of growing up, was there a horror movie character that you identified with or rooted for that or really resonated with you?
Oh, sure. There's a couple of those, Sasha. Probably list. So I definitely enjoyed Pinhead because he was unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was pushing the envelope. Probably Barker came with that character because it was
Mm-hmm.
something that was mainstream that was so hardcore. So wasn't expecting to see something like that in a mainstream character. I also enjoyed what's this character name? Maniac Cop. Enjoyed that character.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one that's running around here? I like the trilogy of terror with
Oh, the African
yeah,
Zuni doll.
yeah, he got busy. So there's a couple of that I relate to. Yeah, those are some right there at the top of my head that I enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
that I resonate with. That when I do think of horror, I think of some of those characters. Oh, Pumpkinhead. I did enjoy Pumpkinhead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to get that African Zuni doll for my collection, but he costs a grip. He's like $300.
And he gonna stay his ass right on that shelf.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see what else I have here. Ah, how do you feel about the state of modern horror movies in the 2010s and going forward?
Okay. Let me take a long, deep breath because I'm about to get
Mm-hmm.
long winded. Nah, but you know what? I feel like this. I feel like watching a lot of foreign movies, seeing new directors in America. Uh, I think the foreign movies are still surpassing as far as not worrying about taking chances and making script where everybody don't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 Cent. Um, did American directors like the guy that did Piranha. He showed hope, and then he did the remake of He'll Have Eyes. That was decent, and he did another movie that flopped.
Wait, is that? I think that's Alexander Aja.
Yes.
That did Hillside. He's the same person that did High Tension, I believe.
Oh, so he came across these and did this. Okay. All right. I'm not sure what happened, but they kind of dropped the ball with the Evil Dead remake. I wasn't feeling that. You know, I think we touched on it briefly, where some of the main staples of that movie was the practical effects for the possessions and the demons, the camera angles, the gore, and the craziness, and none of that was in there. And you can't do that. That was the main staple of that movie. So,
yeah, that should have been its own thing. They should have just made it its own movie and said that it was inspired by Evil Dead. There's a, is it I don't think it's Indonesian. It might be a Malaysian movie. Okay. Oh, that's a similar. It's almost like a remake of the Evil Dead. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it. I think it's The Devil May Take You. Yeah, The Devil May Take You.
Is that the one where they go back to an orphanage and they find out what the guy did?
No, that was The Devil May Take You 2. That was the sequel.
Oh, okay.
The first one, they went to the cabin and it was pretty much, you know, Dead came from the cellar, and it was pretty much like a Asian remake of Evil Dead. But because there were so many changes, they just called it its own thing. But you could still tell all the influences from the Evil Dead, and that's what they should have done with this one. They should have just made their own thing and just said this movie's inspired by the Evil Dead. Yeah. And then I think it would have been better received.
There are two movies that I enjoyed. One is called Lights Out. And the other one was they break into the guy's house and he's blind.
I always forget the name of that one, but I know what movie you're talking about.
It's away at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
That director right there, those two directors are doing well. Of course, we do love James Wan, what he done from Saw to The Conjuring, so forth and so on. I definitely enjoy what he does when it comes to horror. But I want to see what this sister has to give for Candyman. Looking for this sister, see what she's coming through with. Let's see what's going on with Samuel Jackson and Chris Rock with Spyro.
Oh yes, yes.
And there was something else that I seen that I had to put. I can't, you know, I just can't remember it now. So that's
that was actually going to lead into my next question. Before I did want to acknowledge that Night Watch put that Possessor was directed by David Cronenberg's son. So that's probably why it had that Cronenberg feel.
Yeah.
But the next question is what is your top 3 horror movies of the 2010s?
2010s and up?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. As a God's Will. I think that's the name of that movie. I think I recommended to you, sent it to you. But no, that's not horror. That's a hard question. All right, let me go to the ones on the top of my head. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Lights Out. I enjoyed The Conjuring. I'll go through 3s off the top of my head.
Yeah, definitely.
But
especially. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I think I'm gonna need to make a list of what I like and just break it down and do a video with you on that, so we have a long discussion.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
I'm ready for it.
We got a list video coming out tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. We're I think it will come out Tuesday. About zombie movies. Crystal and I will be talking about that.
Okay. I watched the last video you guys made. That was interesting. Because I did see some of those movies that y'all was referring to and talking about.
The found footage and the bottle films.
But
we got to have you on to do a top 10 list of something too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting on her platform too. Like I said, I'm definitely happy on your platform too. This is good. This is a long time coming. But I'm definitely looking forward. I'm definitely gonna put some stuff together. I have some stuff already put together. So I'm gonna finish it, and when you guys come, I'll be prepared. I'll be ready.
Oh. And I'm gonna work on my technical skills because the live streaming, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Even if I got to call up one of my nieces, I got teenage nieces. I'm like, come help your auntie.
That's it. You did it.
Help your auntie set up this stuff.
Okay. You have more questions?
I can't think of any other. Well, there was another question, but because of it was difficult thinking about like what upcoming movies, because there's been so many movies that have been pushed back, canceled, delayed. I was going to ask, you know, the movies that you're most looking forward to, but there's very few that I can think of that haven't been delayed until 2022. I don't even know if the new Ghostbusters movie is coming out this year or next year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's coming out. I think they're trying to push everything to the fall. But what happened with me is I wanted to take my daughter to go see King Kong in the theater. And when I went online and looked at the chairs, because we could just pick the chair that you want, it was space. And I was like, I'm not going to sit. I need to sit next to my daughter. So I have HBO Max and I watch it like that. But today we was watching the news, me and Lori, and I think it was 17% unemployment filed, Lori. 70%. So people aren't really going back to the movie theater because everybody's trying to survive and scrap and survive. So I don't know what's going on with the movies, but I think the agreement that Regional did with Paramount is 45 days and it goes to live stream on their platform. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I have some questions for you if you don't mind.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Night Watch Zone, for he says live streaming is rough sometimes. I know what it's like.
Yep. Yeah, it is rough.
Prim, you gotta have him come through on your show. I think y'all have a good conversation.
Thank you, Carmen.
Night Watch, check out Night Watch Zone's channel. He's got a good channel.
Okay. Well, you know what? You're always invited. Come over here and discuss and enjoy the topic that we do like, and that's horror over here. So the question I got for you, I say this with a big smile. With the state of horror movies, right? What studio is producing better horror movies for you? Like, is it Blumhouse or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely say Blumhouse. I like how he does. Well, in interviews, they've asked him what the secret to his success is, and he says is that he lets the directors do what they want to do. He's not the type of producer that interferes or is heavy-handed with the production. Now, with that, he increases possibly his margin of error because he often will get directors that are unproven yet, but at the same time, he's giving people opportunities that might not normally have an opportunity. But when I compare the Blumhouse movies to someone like Wild Eye, whenever I see Wild Eye or Uncorked, I'm like, this is about to be some trash garbage. I'm sorry. Those two, anybody would, in a lot of their movies, the thing about them is they have all the equipment, but not the desire or the know-how. Like an Uncorked film or a Wild Eye will have top of the line cameras. They'll have all the lighting rigs. They'll have, the locations, but no story written. They'll be shooting everyone in close up. Every scene is like this close up. Like, why are you in these actors' faces? You can back up. You actually had a location. You had a set. You can back up. But because they said, I got the equipment, but forget learning how to actually make a film, that's where they run into their problems.
So what about Dark Castle?
Dark Castle, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what movies Dark Castle have done, because I can't think on the top of my head, so I can't say one way or the other. Wouldn't be fair for me to judge if I can't remember what Dark Castle movies. There's another one. What's the one that's like I can picture the graphic of a room and it has a little rocking chair in it.
Oh, I think is that Blumhouse? That's how it comes on sometimes.
Ghost House? Is it Ghost House Pictures?
Ghost House. I
don't know if that's a subsidiary, but I think it might be Ghost House. When I see that, usually it's followed by a decent movie.
All right.
I'm trying to think of whatever Jordan Peele's production company. I think it's Monkey Paw Productions.
Yeah, because he's doing something with J.J. Abrams. They really got some stuff coming down the pipe. Also, his show that he got, I haven't seen it yet. The Twilight Zone, the remake. I heard
Yeah,
that's really well.
I've seen a couple episodes of it. Of the 3 episodes I saw, they were pretty good. I have to watch. I've heard that season 2 is even better than season 1. So
Okay, that's saying a lot. Now,
the one thing that I think was a negative on that is putting it on CBS, because a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people don't want to subscribe to just the CBS app. I wish he would have got on Amazon Prime or got on Netflix.
well, here's the thing that what was it, CBS? It's like a regular TV type.
Yeah.
It's not even like a platform. It don't really got too much to offer, so I'm like, nah, that was a bad move right there. You should have stuck with something else. So I have a list here, and I'm just going to read it off. So you have Bloomhouse, you had Platinum Doom, Ghost House Pictures, Lionsgate. Lionsgate was big back in the days for horror movies, and Universal made a couple of horror movies too. That I enjoyed.
Well, Universal was one of the originals, because the Universal monsters were like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Bride of Frankenstein. There was another one, Phantom of the Opera. I feel like I'm still missing one. They had all the monsters. The Wolfman. I gotta forget the Mummy. They had all the monsters back in the day at Universal.
All right. So since you brought that up, how do you feel about the Invisible Man?
I like it for what it was, but it wasn't the Invisible Man to me. I feel like they should have called it something else. It had more in common with Hollow Man than the original Invisible Man. I really like the original Invisible Man, and the stuff. I remember Invisible Man he would scream and say stuff like, "I'm so dangerous, even the moon is scared of me." Like he was really crazy on, and I know in this they did portray him still as crazy, but it wasn't. It was more of a evil crazy than a, like, I don't know, out of his marbles crazy. I kind of missed the more comical nature of Invisible Man. They went straight horror, and also I feel like the set pieces were not. I don't know, maybe not grand enough. Everything was just little, like, oh, he turned up the fire on the stove. Like, come on, he's the Invisible Man. In the original, he made a train derail. In the original, like but then I assume he probably wasn't given a lot of money to work with to do that Invisible Man as well. So,
did you see King Kong versus Godzilla?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so the question I want to present to you is this: when it comes to monster movies or giant monster movies, why is it they still have the issue with the human part of the script, or is it just making a light script just to see them fight and they're not really worried about anything else? Because watching Kong, I sat there, me and my daughter was watching it, and I just came out and said, like, look, I don't like how they treating Kong at the beginning, right? And she's like, yeah, I don't like that, because the bad writing for me was, you said a storm hit the island and wiped everybody out, right? I'm like, this island got hit by storms many a times. And he just so happened to save the little girl that he has a connection to, right? Then they turned around and met the scientist whose brother was trying to get to what's it called, Middle Earth.
Or like it was like the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah, Hollow Earth or Middle Earth.
Yeah, Hollow Earth.
Let's call it Hollow Earth. And his brother passed away through the barrier, like it crushed him instantly, right? So we're saying, with Kong, we can get through. Later on, the Latino brother came through and said, look, I have these ships that can get through there, right? So I'm like, okay, Kong go through and the ships go through. So why you needed Kong if you just needed the ships? So the ships would go through already by himself. Big plot hole.
They had to have a plot device to get Kong his magical axe. How are you going to get it?
But see, here's the thing, right? They did justice with Kong, and the reason why I say that is because they fleshed him out. They had him more intelligent. He was aware of himself. You know what I'm saying? When he got down there and noticed that he was from a lineage of Kongs who were royal. It wasn't just hanging out this and that. They had like their own thing going on, but it also showed they rival with the Gonzalez. I'm gonna say Gonzalez. I don't know what they call them. With the thing that and using their fins and stuff. I'll call them fins and scales for axe and weapons and stuff. So I enjoy how they fleshed them out more. You know what I'm saying? I never got with the Beauty Sue the Savage Beast thing.
Yeah, that has
That was
always been
low
whack.
key. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
low key. You know,
that was
so
racist. It's
yeah,
racist.
yeah. It's like,
All a
hold
big
on.
a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one thing I didn't like was the insertion of what's her name, Stranger Things girl, and like their little subplot. Not because it was a bad subplot, it just was poorly written. That could have came off like comic relief if it would had been written better. But
Well,
the way it was written, it was
here's the thing. When it came to her character, right? I
mhm.
noticed that, like, okay, her friend came to her. He took the van, his parents' van. And when he got there, she like, I'm driving. You need to hurry up and get it. So she's just taking over, right?
Yeah.
Then she's matching wits and intelligent with the guy who was the conspiracy theory. Then
Hmm.
she gets into these facilities and she's like just so brave. I'm not moving. Everybody like, get out the way, this and that. I'm like, look, I'm for woman power. She's a teenager.
Hmm.
Let's kind of
And
ground it just a little bit. Just a
for
little
what it's worth, they still sidelined all the people of color characters. Like the conspiracy theory guy, he gets to be only but so smart. Like
bit.
this guy he was working in an engineering facility, so you would think that they could write him as highly intelligent and maybe put a little geek quirks in there. I mean, that's fine, but they made him very juvenile. Like they I don't know, they didn't write him very well at all. Then they had the child there that was, I want to say that actor might be Maori or from New Zealand. I
Yeah,
think he's
but
from,
that's her best friend, and they were just
but
like,
they didn't give him anything to do either. And he could have at least they could have had him do a few things. Then even with the little girl that was saved with Kong, they
mm-hmm.
put that little girl in so much danger. This lady's like, oh, I adopted her. She's my daughter. But you're taking her on all these missions. You're putting her in all this danger
I'm calling
and not really
DCF on
giving a
her.
damn. This is a child.
Yeah, I'm
And
calling
not caring
DCF on
about
her
her and not caring about her trauma. This is a child who has lost their whole tribe.
ass.
And
Mm-hmm.
there's like no attention paid to the possible trauma that might cause a child. But she's a cute little person of color that can do sign language,
Mm-hmm.
which kudos to them for actually having a deaf actress. That actress actually is deaf. So that's good. But it's like
Okay, so we have Tony Man 00. Her friend was Fire First. Fire Fist
Fire Fist.
from Deadpool 2. Did anyone notice the almost
Yes.
Stranger Thing whenever they show them? Yeah, I noticed it a little bit. And you're right. Her friend was in Deadpool Part 2. Great,
Yes, he
great.
was. He was.
Yeah, thanks for noticing that, man.
Hmm.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
But
they
what do you think about the fight scenes?
the fight scenes are what we came for. That was fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed those.
yeah, that was
I
fun.
when I saw, I don't know if you saw my review for Kong Skull Island. When I saw that, I went to a theater here in Orlando that it's called 4DX.
Mm-hmm.
And 4DX is like you have the 3D glasses, but at the same time, all the seats are mounted and they move. And
Oh,
then also if there's fire on the screen, it shoots hot air at you. If it's snowing, like what I saw one of the Fast and Furious movies there, it snows inside the theater. It's like a whole like a ride you would get at Universal Studios. Only thing is like $24 a ticket. But seeing Kong Skull Island in 4DX was great. This would have been the only one caveat is every time someone
yeah,
throws a
people
punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the fight scenes were awesome. Every time a character throws a punch, the chair
Mm-hmm.
punches you in the back. You be sitting there and it's punching you in the back, like I don't want to get hit. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. This movie would have messed you up if you saw it in 4DX. The fight
Yeah.
scenes were pretty good, and I like that you could see everything, which was one of my criticisms of the Transformers movies. When I see the fight scenes of Transformers, to my eyes, it looks like this. Like I can't see what's going on. I can't see who's winning. I don't know how whoever did that. They didn't render that well. But yeah, like Night Watchman, he just mentioned Kong was with the Mecha Godzilla. You could see every movement Mecha Godzilla did. Why couldn't they do that in the Transformers movies? It just I don't know why they did the CGI the way they did. It was not pleasing to the eye. But the Mecha Godzilla in this, I saw when his hand started spinning around. It was nice.
Yeah, it was shot way better. I think when it comes to the Transformer movies, for me, it was too many moving pieces where you couldn't
Hmm.
tell who was who on the screen,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to like slender the designs down. So that
Hmm.
was one of the issues I have with the Transformer movies. Where there's a Night Watch zone says Kong was done dirty though, not for loud, but he beat Mega Godzilla, which
Hmm.
he did. And I just want to point out they had him sedated on the ship.
Hmm. Hmm.
They had him exposed to the weather. Then they
And in the
forced him
water.
off
How is
it.
it? Gorillas don't really go swimming, so they put he was at a disadvantage when he first with that first fight between him and Godzilla.
Yeah, and then when you get to the Arctic, he's in the ship. You see him shivering,
Hmm.
and then he's doing all this stuff, and then he has to turn around and fight Godzilla and
But
Mega Godzilla.
on the reverse of that, because I'm more I have to full disclosure, I'm more a Godzilla person,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
I'm
said
Team Godzilla.
I don't know if you saw me last week when I said that if things were real and even, and if he didn't have his magical axe, that he would be a burnt monkey because all Godzilla got to do is just breathe is it atomic or radiation
It's
breath,
atomic.
whatever it is.
But here's
Yeah,
the,
but they gave him that axe to block that
yeah.
fire breath.
But here's the thing, though. The reason why King Kong wouldn't have won with the axe is because Godzilla is battle tested. He got
Hmm.
thousands of fights under his belt with a lot of foes that damn near took him out. So he's tough and conditioned for these fights. I did like that he was aware that this is not the threat I'm looking for,
Hmm.
and they resolved and put to bed that long century issue to have between the two tribes. So that was cool. So the next time they come across, because they know they're gonna make another one,
Hmm.
it will be them guys teaming up.
Hmm.
So yeah. So the next question I got for you, let's see. Did you see the Jupiter trailer for Netflix?
Yes, I did. I don't
Okay.
know what to think of it though yet. It looked interesting, but I'm not familiar with the characters. I didn't read that particular comic book, so I have to wait to watch it to see what it's all about. But it looks interesting enough.
Okay, so the guy's name, I keep saying Frank Miller, but it's something Miller. He
Mm-hmm.
wrote Kick Ass.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one that everybody likes? The Kingsman.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he
So
also do? Did he do 300?
no.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's the guy who brought that to fruition. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that and see how
Do you
that
think
works out.
Netflix is going to lean into their ability to do rated R content, or
They
you
do
think
it
they're going to stick
sometimes.
you?
They
Yeah.
do it sometimes. Actually, uh, was it My Mother's Eyes? You ever see that? That
I did not see that, but I saw like the last series I watched. I saw the Umbrella Academy, the season 1 and 2. But
Mm-hmm.
that one was I would still consider that kind of like PG-13.
Okay.
I
Now
think
the
I'm getting
one.
spoiled because I've been watching these Amazon Prime shows like The Boys and Invincible, and now I'm like, that's the level of violence I want. I
Well,
know it
look.
sounds terrible.
No. It doesn't sound terrible because I collect those books. I collected The Boys, and actually,
Oh, nice.
okay, and the artwork is spot on, as
Hmm.
in
Yeah, look at that.
it's spot on, right?
Hmm.
So you can see it's spot on. So they put some money and stuff into this. It gets really violent. I don't want to tell you the story, but let's stick with the Invincible.
Hmm.
As far as The Boys, they changed it a little bit because they had to tone it down. So what you're seeing is a watered down version of The Boys. So imagine
Oh,
they were,
wow.
yeah, they got loose in that. Yeah, I think Netflix will put something out there that's kind of heavy.
Hmm.
Right now, they major demographic is like from 18 to like our age, family
Hmm.
orientated stuff like that, and that's their bread and butter. So they'll throw something up there.
Did you happen to see the trailer for them?
All right, so what's your thought on that right there?
I have mixed opinions because on the one hand, I like a good horror show,
Mm-hmm.
but on the other hand, does all our horror necessarily have to come with black trauma? Like I don't
I'm
need
down
the
with Black
side,
Mama.
yeah, the
I'm
side
so down.
plot with them moving into the white neighborhood and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly don't need to see that because my mother and grandparents lived through that. My mother was born in 1954. She can tell me the times that she literally saw signs on water fountains that said whites only. When my grandparents bought their house in the neighborhood, they killed the family dog. The people killed the dog. And one of the reasons they even got that house was because the neighbors had previously didn't want the Jewish family that was living there before. So the Jewish family said, oh, okay, we're going to fix you and make sure that we sell this house to someone that's not white, since you
So they
have
pick
a problem
lesser
with
of
us.
the evil. So let's pick lesser of the evils. You want the
Yeah.
Negroes or you want the Jews? Let's go to Negroes.
No, it was that the Jewish people had the house, and the white people in the neighborhood didn't like them there. So when the Jewish guy sold his house, he made sure to sell it to another minority just to spite them.
Good for him. Appreciate that. I feel the same way because I never liked that show, Good Times. I was like, should I live in projects? I don't need to tell you nothing about the projects. I lived in the projects coming up. You know what I'm saying? And nothing was good on that show. Everybody was taking L's. So I never really cared for that show too much. Yeah, I'm done with the trauma stuff. Everything don't have to be related to institutionalized racism. We are fully aware of it. We live in it. We experience it. The reason why we do watch entertainment is to get away from that. And I don't need y'all guys pushing that interface on a 100-foot screen. Thanks, but no thanks. That's my opinion on that.
Night Watch Zone says exactly. I don't need to see another horror like they right now. We got to do something new other than black trauma.
Okay, so here's the thing, Night Watch Zone. I'm looking to see more black folklore from American folklore, Egyptian and African folklore. I like to see black horror authors get their stuff made. I want to see science fiction. Western.
Can I jump? I want to jump off of the science fiction one into Afrofuturism. One of the best things that I saw, like I watched Lovecraft Country and that had black trauma in it too. But one of the best episodes, did you see Lovecraft Country?
Loved it.
The best episode was when Hippolyta got to travel into outer space and she met I Am, and a lot of the things that they were saying in the background were things that came from there was a Sun Ra movie in the 70s. I watched it not too long ago with my sister. What was it called? Space is the Place. It's like an Afrofuturistic sci-fi movie. And then I also remember coming up, we saw movies like The Brother from Another Planet.
I remember that movie.
Even actually, original Buckaroo.
That's the father from Cyber Father. That was him. He was the actor in that.
And there was the original Buckaroo Banzai movie. I love that some of the aliens, when the aliens, there was like two different types of aliens. It was like John Bigabooty or Bigabootay. And then they had these other aliens and they were all brown skinned. They had dreadlocks. They were like just black people when they showed themselves in their human form. And then you saw the alien form. So that was cool. And then there was a very short-lived show. Tell me if you remember this. It was like a Twilight Zone show, but it only had 3 episodes before it was canceled. It was on HBO. And there was, oh gosh, what was it called? Cosmic Slop. I don't know if you remember Cosmic. I'll send you the link because some of the episodes are uploaded on YouTube. Well, there was only 3 episodes, but one of the episodes was about these aliens that came and they were like, well, we're just here to pick up the black people. And it was all this hysteria and they're trying to figure out, well, what do we do? Do we let them take all the black people? What are they going to do with them? And it was a really good episode. It was really cool, but it was called Cosmic Slop. And I think one of the producers on it was George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic. Yeah. And he used to come on the stage with the spaceship and everything. And so that I would love to do some more Afrofuturism.
Yeah, actually, you've seen it on my page. I put the anime of the Black Samurai. Well, I was showing Lori the folklore too, because that's a true story. But there's some other pictures too. Actually, side note, I have to get the guy information. I'll put it on my page. Is he came through India, way of India, and I think he went to the North Shaolin, not the South Shaolin, like the 2 Shaolins, and he brought the breathing technique. You know when boxers breathe, when they do karate, they say kia and all that stuff. That's Shasha is too. When they do that, it's to exhale but tighten their body so when they get hit, they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
So a brother brought that to them, and they built off that foundation and stuff. But that's documented in their history and in their records in martial arts and in ours. So yeah, it's definitely coming out. I think it's I don't know. It's like breaking an egg, make an omelet. The situation that's going on now that they feeling guilt, like, all right, let's let these black people get something going on. So now they're exposing some of the stuff that we contribute and stuff. So that's why we got this black animated show coming out. I think his name is Sasuke, but not is it Sasuke or Suke, something like that. But we'll see. I mean, let's run it until they turn the waterfall off. Like, all right,
and they found out that we're profitable. We're
I
probably
think they should have noticed that how Black Panther turned out.
Oh yeah, well they should have noticed that 30 years ago when Beverly Hills Cop was the highest grossing movie of the year. They could have noticed it then, but then they wanted to turn around and tell Denzel that there was was it Sony? There was a movie studio leak that my sister told me about, where some of the emails were talking about how Denzel Washington shouldn't have played. I can't remember the name of the movie. The movie where he kind of worked at a Home Depot and he helped that girl out. I forgot the name. Yes, that. There was the emails leaked that said that they didn't want him to be a lead because a black lead.
She's the head of Sony. I remember.
Yes.
And that's like the other guy named. They're saying some racist stuff. And
saying that he couldn't be a lead because it's not profitable. And then it was extremely profitable. How could you be so racist that you let your racism get in the way of it making $1? That's mental illness to me.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? Our track record shows that over 80%, Sasha, when it comes to sitcom, does well, where their sitcom doesn't do well. So they repackage our shit and we sell it to the mainstream industry, like Friends.
Yeah. Which I couldn't make it through one episode of that. That was just it was painfully unfunny. Yeah, and not because it's white, just because it was unfunny. Because the Golden Girls is also white, but that chunk was funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I co-signed the Golden Girls, but I didn't get it. The Friends, Cheers, Frasier, the other ones, which I just couldn't get into it. I tried. My golden rule is 3 episodes before you chuck it. So the episodes I'm not happy with it. So moving on back to some horror. Are you watching Tales of the Crypt?
Not currently.
It's on Shudder.
You're talking about the new one. Yeah, I saw the first season. I did not see season 2. Did season 2 drop already?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen season 2. I saw season 1 and I saw the special. Yeah. Yeah. Was the one where it was a cartoon of a man on the beach and he kept on like eating his hands and stuff? Like was it the Halloween special?
That was season 1. That was season 1. Because the Christmas special, it was Santa coming to kill them because they was changing into monsters and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. I saw that one. I have not seen season 2 yet, but Creepshow, it's one of my probably the second or third favorite movie of all time. Like to the point where I used to be able to quote Creepshow. We had that on VHS. We ran that VHS into the ground. And I got Creepshow 2. My favorite was Aunt Bedelia. She was sitting there getting drunk. She was like, a real man. And what I wanted, he wanted for me. But you had to go and ruin it all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. One day I am going to dress up and do a cosplay and be Aunt Bedelia on my channel and do the whole monologue. Because that chick should have got an award. She's one of the first horror actresses that should have got an Oscar for what she did. Her homegirl that was in Hereditary, she definitely should. Lupita, when she did 2 characters in Us, these award ceremonies for acting are really overlooking horror actors.
Yeah, I think they need to have a horror Academy Award show.
Yes.
That's what they really need. Or we can make it up ourselves and we'll give them our own award, what we think is right for them. I think that's what we should do.
We should have our own award ceremony.
At the end of the year, we will do something dealing with horror. So I'm putting it in my notes, so you're not reminded. So we have another one. It says, Lady Sasha, you still can quote Creepshow?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you got any more questions?
I can't think of anything else unless you want to talk about that Snyder cut.
Nah, not
That's
that.
a whole. That's got to be its whole own thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you
But
know what?
horror wise, I think we're going in the right direction as far as having more Black people behind the camera and writing, or I should say, returning to the right direction. Because there were a lot of Black horror movies in the 70s, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of fell off. And
Actually, there was a brother who had his hand out. I think he was assistant writer or director for Final Destination Part 2.
very cool.
So, we definitely sprinkled through there, put a little season on it because it get a little bland sometimes. We got to put
Mm-hmm.
some season. We got to kick it up for them. So, I definitely enjoyed the interview you had with me. I'm
Same.
looking
Thank you very
forward
much.
to doing more interviews with you. Also, what I sent you far as the weekly show, we have to hash that out and see if we can work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, you got a question?
Yeah. Anyone excited for Quiet Place 2? I'm super excited for that.
It looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good. Okay, I am pumped for Quiet Place 2. Yep, everybody's pumped for Quiet Place 2.
When does that come out?
Uh, I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it definitely is coming out. The actor that was in that movie, I forgot the guy's name that got killed in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wrote and directed.
Yes, and he's another comedic actor, which
Yeah.
they're doing really good with horror. Between him, Chris Rock, the dude that did the new Halloween, and Jordan Peele, and I think it's both because both horror and comedy are largely rely on timing. You have to have the right timing to land a joke and have the right timing to land a scare. So I think that's a transferable skill.
Yeah, and also that was his wife in that movie.
Oh, his wife in real life.
Yeah, that's his wife.
Very
Emily,
cool.
is it Emily Blunt? That's her name. Yeah.
And also that actress that was in Quiet Place, the younger actress, she's also deaf in real life as well. So it's cool to see
Okay.
people actually hiring people that are deaf to play deaf roles. That's cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. So, recap. Definitely enjoyed the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Yep, and I think they're trying to get him to play Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, which he looks the role. But we'll see what happens because he's in negotiation talking with Marvel right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got Tony. Horror and comedy also are polarizing. This is true, sir.
Either it scares you or it doesn't, or it makes you laugh or it doesn't. It just every individual is different.
Okay, so definitely enjoyed the interview. I definitely like the questions you had for me. Looking forward to ending this year so we can come up with our horror award show, and definitely have to bang out something for a weekly show dealing with horror.
Definitely. Thank you so much for letting me interview you. I think this went well despite the technical difficulties. Thank you to the chat. Thank you guys for coming through. You guys really came.
I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it, guys. So with that being said, Sasha, I will see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.